One.
Hello, everyone. This is Marty Storer. I'm going to be doing the commentary for the Ohio State Backgammon Championships final match between Mary Hickey and Scott Johnston. Now, to give a bit of background on both these players, Mary Hickey is a very strong player. She is a former U.S. Open champion. She won that tournament back-to-back 2 years, and I think it was 2009 and 2010. And she has co-authored a book with me called "What's Your Game Plan?" And as Phil Simborg said, she was really the brains behind that operation. She was almost all the positions came from her position database. You know, the book was her idea and all that stuff. So she's written columns for Gammon Village, the online site, and many other things. So she's a prolific backgammon author. And she's a great player. She's won many other tournaments besides those two U.S. Opens. She won the North Carolina tournament in 2016, and she did something else recently. I forget what, but really just many great results. So they haven't started yet. I guess they're don't know what they're going to do, but I think Mary's going to be sitting on the bottom. You can see the bottom half of the board that you see. I think the checkers on that side will be played by Mary. Now, Scott Johnston, I don't know Scott myself, but Phil Simborg does. Scott is a student of Phil Simborg's. Phil Simborg is the master teacher of the Backgammon Learning Center. Full disclosure, I'm a teacher for that organization too. And Phil says that Scott has been taking lessons from him for some years and has made great progress. And Scott has never won an ABT event, and this is his first, if he wins the consolation here, that will be a very good result. And he's playing, one of the top players on the circuit, Mary Hickey. You can see her now with the glasses and the purple coat. And Scott will probably appear. I saw him before on the top of the screen on the left. And Scott is from Indiana. He's maybe from Indianapolis, and he's in the Hoosier Backgammon Club there. And here you can see him slowly moving into the screen area. And he has given Phil some confidential information, is that he's going to follow Phil's advice, which is generally very, very good advice for students. And he is going to try to put pressure on Mary with the cube, considering Mary to be the stronger player, and considering that you want to up the volatility. In other words, you get the cube going, and maybe win a lucky gammon or something like that, and then that way try to decrease the stronger player's edge. And it's very it's good to have an objective view of your own capabilities relative to your opponent. And almost all players, we think we're really actually stronger than we are. We're stronger than the results or reality actually supports. And for Scott to say to himself, well, Mary's a stronger player and I'm going to tailor my game accordingly, shows a good attitude, a good objective view of his own game, and a humility that's really good, I think. And when you're a backgammon student, you're trying to improve your game, get your ego out of it, and get your try to be as objective as possible. And Mary's sort of seen it all. She's a very good match player. I've played doubles with her many times. I've played against her many times. She's a very tough opponent, and she has a very practical view of match play. And she's going to be paying attention to what she thinks Scott is thinking. And she may actually anticipate, I don't want to put words into her mouth, she may actually anticipate that Scott will adopt the strategy I outlined of being a little bit aggressive with the cube against her, whom he perceives to be he perceives that she is a stronger player. I can't give an objective assessment of his game because I haven't played him or seen him play. But Phil Simborg, told me, all this, and Phil knows his game intimately well. So it should be an exciting match. This is a I believe it's a 9-point match. And they're setting up for 18 minutes. Yeah, so that would be a 9-point match. So usually, when you use a clock for a match, you got a time bank of 2 minutes times the number of points the match is. So 2 times 9 is 18. And they're each going to have 18 minutes in their time bank, but they're going to have 12 seconds per move where they can make a move and they won't have to go into their time bank. And the way the clocks work is if you run out of time, if your time bank expires, then you lose the match. But you always have that 12 seconds to make your move, and it won't decrease the time in your bank. So a match can still take a very long time, much more than 36 minutes, because you could spend 12 seconds for free each move. But it still does force a match to be played in a reasonable amount of time, and that's good for the organizers because they don't have to worry about one slow match holding up the whole thing. And it encourages a certain discipline in thinking and just a courteousness, not to sit there and ponder forever. So now it looks like they're ready to start. They're ready to start. And Mary's setting her checkers up. I'll be referring to the players, not only as Mary and Scott, but as black and white. I think those checkers are more blue than black, but black and white is sort of simple and it follows chess-like practice. So the black checkers being played by Mary. She's sitting at the bottom of the board. Scott's playing the white checkers. And you notice there's a score sheet on the right side of the board that you see. It says match to 9 and it's 0-0. So that's where the score will appear. And you can watch the players as the match goes on. You can watch them furrowing their brows and scratching their heads. There's Scott. We are almost ready to go. Maybe they wanted to hedge some money whereby the loser gets some money from the winner. They agreed that, I don't know that they've done that, but that's people often do that. So now they're whatever the reason for the slight delay, now they're ready to start. They've shaken hands, they're wishing each other a good match. They're asking whether the streaming is set up right and whether everything is in order. Scott's got a ring on his right hand and Mary's got a ring on her left hand. What other colorful things can I say? Coming up empty. So Scott will be back momentarily, I think, and then we'll really be ready to go. The finals, again, this is the finals of the Ohio State Backgammon Championship consolation section. So each of these players has lost one match and one match only. And the winner is a winner of the consolation, which is tantamount to finishing second in the tournament, really. There was a second place prize given to Alan Tisch, just lost to the finals to Sean Garber. This is the second time Sean Garber. So now Scott has opened with a 2-1. He's slotted the 5-point, and it's a good aggressive play. And Mary has responded by hitting with a 4-1. And with a 1, she steps up with her back check. She doesn't want to expose a blot on her side of the board to be hit and lose a lot of pips. Scott replies with a 6-3, comes into the 3, and he has no good 6 except to hit loose on his 5-point. And Mary can miss, and then he can make the point, but Mary is hit. And again, she pushes the back checker up with a 1. She doesn't want to expose a blot on her side of the board. Now she's got an advantage in the race. She's got 2 checkers back to 4. And now Scott has a decision. He can come in and he can, with a 2-1, he can make the 22-point But now he is making what I believe is a better play. He's going to hit loose on the 5 point again. He's trying to make that point, and now Mary's going to hit him yet again. Mary could make an anchor on Scott's 4 point, but in general, he should just keep hitting in positions like this until things clarify. So now Scott has got 5 checkers back, but Mary does not have the strong inner board yet, and I think Scott has made the correct play with a double 2. He's come in making the Mary's 2 point. He's come up with the last 3 to make Mary's 5 point. And when you have more checkers back, you don't want to get blocked, because then you'll have a very hard time getting all those more checkers out from behind your opponent's blocking structure, blockade, or prime. And so Scott, by making Mary's 5 point, he's forestalled that possibility. So Mary rolls a 6-5, and she runs out with a 6. And she reinforces her 8 point with a 5. She could have made another play. There were a bunch of plays she could have made. She could have kept the checker coming from the 11 point all the way around to the 9 point, but I think she wants to minimize Scott's hitting numbers. And Scott cannot hit. He would have hit on the 9 point if Mary left a checker there with a 6-1. But he rolled a 6-1, and instead he just made a nice quiet play. He made his bar point. He's got 3 points in a row. He's got a good structure. He's got the better structure than Mary, and now Mary comes all the way to the 9 point from the 14 point, and the checker on that point, if not hit, then that's a good builder. Mary can make the 9 pointer. She can use the builder on the 9 point to make her 4 point or bar point or maybe 3 point. So he is not hit. 2-1 does not hit. Mary had another play with that 4-1. She could have stopped on the 10 point and pushed her back checker up to the 4 point. I think she wanted the builder on the 9 point was a higher value. It certainly is if it doesn't hit. The question is, I think she left more hit. So now Scott has broken the back anchor, and he's reinforced his Mary's 5 point, his own 20 point. He didn't have to do that. He could have kept them intact, but now Mary just lifts her block from the 9 to the 6, and she moves her back checker up. Scott might have made his 5 point instead and kept the 5 checkers back. Now it looks like he's rolled double 2s, and he points on Mary on his 5 point. So he's got a better structure. He's got an anchor on Mary's 5 point. He's got his own 5 point made, and Mary's on the bar, and she doesn't have any new points made. But now Scott is abandoning the Mary's 5 point in favor of her bar point. Now I'm not sure that's the right idea, because Mary can get lucky with a joker double 3 double 1 and make the 5 point on Scott's head, as the expression goes. So the 5 point was still more desirable than Mary's 5 point was more desirable than Mary's bar point. But Scott did switch. It's not the worst play in the world, but I think it's inaccurate. With double 6, interesting roll. Scott can now, I believe he should make his bar point. Probably this is the right play, to make the bar point and then just lift one of the blots in for a builder onto a spare checker on the 8 point, and 4 points in a row. So Mary can put 2 checkers on the bar, and she does so. She puts 2 on the bar, and this is not the most fearsome prospect in the world. Her idea is defensive. She wants to gain time so that Scott is not able to use the full roll to attack her or to make new points. The risk she took was to let him have a single 1 to set her second checker back. But Scott came in with a 5-3, missed the blot, and Mary rolled a very good roll, double 5s, which makes the 3 point points on Scott and makes the 1 point. Now she's got a 3 point in her board. And now Scott is filling the lack of an anchor in Mary's board. If he had Mary's 5 point, then he would be much safer from being attacked. And now he comes out to Mary's bar point. He kind of minimizes his blots. And now Mary has rolled. Mary's strategy of gaining the time by the double hit has paid off. Now she's escaped and hit. And Mary only has Scott only has 5 numbers to hit back. And he came in. He's in the game. He's well in the game because he's got a holding game based on the 18 point or Mary's bar point. He can hold that point and hope that Mary is forced to leave blots as she tries to get her checker. So now Mary's way ahead in the race. You can take a pip count, which is just the sum of all the number of points each side has to go before they bear all the checkers off. I don't have Extreme Gammon, the helpful robot, here with me, or I have it, but I'm not. It's not open. I'm the sole commentator here. And Mary has played a safe 5-4. Her game plan. What's her game plan, you might ask? A book of the same name. Her game plan is to come home safely. Scott's game plan is to hit. Before, as Mary tries to come home safely, she might be forced to leave a blot, and then Scott wants a big board and prime available on his side, so that if he hits Mary as she tries to come home, then he'll have a welcoming committee ready on his side of the board to menace Mary's blot and also block that blot. So Scott has kept the 5-point prime intact, and he's moved a checker out of Mary's board. And the trouble with that play might be correct, but the trouble is that maybe Mary can hit with a 4 and come home and leave only a few shots. But Mary has rolled a 6-5, and that is a forced blot number. There's no 6, so she hit loose on Scott on her 2-point. The cube is still in the middle. Nobody yet has had a big enough advantage to double. Mary has got the advantage in this game, but now she's left a blot, and this could be very costly. Could be the game right here if Scott rolls a 2 and hits that blot. And he's rolled a 6-5, so he's missed, and his blot comes forward in Mary's board. Now Mary still has some work to do to get home. She might consider doubling based on the pip count, but it's a little dicey because she's got buried checkers low in her board, and those checkers are not available to move high numbers, so she might quickly run out of time to play safely. So she makes her 4-point, which is a good, now she's got a 5th point in her inner board ready to make the 2-point. So now Scott just plays safe. He brings another builder into his board. He's on top of his 5-point prime. Mary might still have trouble coming home, and there's a 6-3, so this is by far the best play. She makes her 2-point and puts Scott on the bar. If Scott does not roll a 5, right now, if he rolls a 5, he's going to almost be winning. But with a 6-3, this is dicey. And Mary immediately doubles. Because now, if she can lift that blot or cover it with most 8s, she'll be, Scott will be in trouble, and Mary might even win a gammon. And Scott knows this, and he elects, says, okay, to win this, I have to come in the 5-point quickly and then hit something quickly, and I'll probably win. But if not, it's a low probability event, and I might lose, or I might get unlucky and get gammon and lose 4 points. So instead, he gives up 1 point. And Mary thought that her gammon chances were not high enough to play on for the gammon without doubling. And I tend to agree with that. I agree with the judgment, actually, here. So Scott is up with a 5-2, and he splits with a 2, comes down with a 8. And that's the favored play nowadays. We've learned that from the robots, Extreme Gammon, and some of the earlier robots, backgammon computer programs, analysis tools for backgammon have endorsed that move, although it used to be all players would play 2 down from the midpoint. So now 4-3 for Mary responded with a 6-1, and Scott rolled a bad 4-3, and I believe I would make the same play as him. He brought a builder down, he stepped up, but now Mary rolled a joker. A joker means a really good number. Double 3s, pointing on 2 of both of Scott's blot in her board, and now Scott come in with 1 checker only, and Mary will very quickly double. And she does double, and now Scott thinks, well, I've got a checker on the bar. Mary's got 3 points in her board, and I have only 1 point in my board. And I've got a blot in my outfield. And, it turns out that Mary, besides those threats, Mary is ahead in the race. And her game plan is going to be to attack on her own 4-point if she can't hit the outside block. And if she succeeds in that plan, she can win a lot of gammons. And so rather than risk that possibility, Scott drops the cube correctly, as I believe. And Mary Hickey leads Scott Johnston 2-0 in the finals of the consolation of the Ohio State Backgammon Championships. I'm Marty Storer. I've been around the backgammon wars for some 43 years, and I love to analyze backgammon and play. And I'm not alive in the tournament, so I'm free to comment. And Scott opens with a 5-3, making his 3. Oh, Mary ran with a 6-5. Scott responded with 5-3, making his 3-point. Mary came down with 2 builders with 3-2, and now Scott played 2 down from his 0-point, adding a builder to his 11-point, splitting. He could have considered slotting his own 5-point. It was a saying, prime an anchor, attack a blot, but splitting was a decent way to fight against Mary's builders in the outfield. She's threatening to block, and then he's giving more coverage of the outfield, wants to make an advanced anchor hit, and he has hit Mary with a 6-4, and Mary has come in with a 6-1 and out to Scott's bar. And now Scott could attack, but he has rolled a 3-2, and he can't tackle that number unless he wants to hit on the 1-point, which is much too risky. So he comes around, he saves these 2 blots at 1 blow with 3, making his 11-point with a blot from the 14-point where he's just hit Mary. And now with the 2, he's thinking whether he should come down to the 11-point and reinforce it with a 3rd checker, or whether he should step up to try to escape his last back checker. I'm not sure of the answer, but stepping up is well motivated. He wants to get his last back checker out. Mary has now, we're short of 5-1, and she made Scott's bar point. And here's the 6-4, and now Scott has succeeded in his plan of escaping. He's escaped safely. And and so now we might say, what's the pip count? We want to assess who's winning the race, because even if the game is not a pure race, it can turn into one. And Mary has gained 24 pips with double 6s. And if I take a pip count, I get 120 pips for black. And now white has rolled a double 3s. That's 12 pips. And now he's going to count the pips. He's going to maybe make a candidate move, like let's say 4 off the midpoint, and count the pips. So what did I say? 94, 44, 30, 44, 94, 26 is 120. Right? Is that what I said? And now Scott must have counted the pips, 35, 71, and 40. It's 119, so it's about even. So Scott is elected to maintain some contact. I'm still not sure of the right play, but the trouble with the play Scott chose is he kept 4 points in front of Mary's back checkers, but the outfield is stripped. There are no spare checkers on those outfield points. So he's now thinking, should I break the 10-point and give myself some spare checkers and get 1 checker into play? Well, I think he's right to do this. And again, the race is close, and now Mary's taken a commanding lead in the race, double 5s. This should be the ball game. She's going to count for sure. 44, 74, 81, 90 pips. 113 pips with Scott on roll. He might be able to take a cube, but he's not going to be able to take a cube after that, because he's going to have 107 pips. 94, 99, 105 pips. Maybe I was wrong. 105 pips. He had 113, 8. 105 pips, and Mary has got, again, 44, 74, 81, 90 to 105 is 15 pips. And if you use the racing formulas one can use and say, all right, the pip count is such and such, and can I take a cube, or do I have to pass a cube, or should I double? Mary counts, and she doubles, and Scott rejects the double. He must have counted and already and figured out that 90 to 105 is too much. One rule of thumb, you can use 10% plus or minus 2. So the leader, you take 10% of the leader's pip count, and the trailer can take, if behind, by 10% plus 2 of the leader's pip count. So 10% of 90 would be 99, plus 2 would be 101. That would be a threshold for take in a money game or a money game-like match situation. So this was much worse than that. Mary doubles Scott Johnston out. Mary Hickey leads 3-0. She opened with a 5-4 split, which is good to do when you're leading. You want to get an advanced anchor. You want to steer the game toward a simpler game plan. Scott replied with double twos, and he puts pressure right on Mary by making an innerboard point, making an outfield point that attacks the Mary's blots, and Mary makes her 3-point. Scott makes his points on Mary on the 5-point with a 3-1, and Mary comes up with a great roll of 3-2 to make the 22 anchor. The opponent's 3-point. That's a very resilient anchor, more so than many people realize. But Scott knows well how resilient it is because Phil Simborg, his backgammon teacher, is well aware of that, the resilience of the 22 anchor. And now Mary is running. She's thinking about running from the anchor. Now she's thinking, well, I don't know if I want to leave a blot on my side of the board. Her next best play would be, if she doesn't run, her best play would be to slot her 4-point, move one checker all the way from the midpoint to the 4-point. And she would hope that Scott missed that blot, and then she could cover. And then her anchor on Scott's 3-point would give her security, and it would give her chances to win from that point by hitting later, and even race. But now she's wondering whether she should just try to race now. And so Mary can count pips as well as anybody, right? And so I get 145 pips for black. 157 for white. I think that's right. 346 and 61 is 107, 123, 147. And what did I say? 141. So 141, 65, 87, 117, 141. Yeah, it's 141 to 147. So Mary's ahead by 6 pips. So she says, all right, do your worst. I'm just going to run. And you only have, you might be able to attack me, but, I'm ahead in the race, and I'm going to win ahead in the race. That's a rule of thumb that the great player Kit Woolsey, not only a great background player, but also a top bridge player, just an all-around gaming genius, theoretician of backgammon. He says, when ahead in the race. And Mary has just followed that advice. She said, I'm ahead in the race. My alternative is very risky, and it might get me doubled, and therefore I'm just going to run and hope to run some more. Now the question for Scott is whether he should hit Mary's blot loose. And he's playing. It looks like he's considering playing safe. So it looks like 140 pips, and now Mary's probably going to just play safe to the 8-point. I got to keep counting the pips every time because I don't keep a running count very well. And now Scott has to think, will I block Mary or will I attack her on the 3-point? I believe he should attack her with double ones on the 3-point. Now he could switch from his 4-point to his 3-point and put Mary on the bar, where she will stay with 1/4 of her answering rolls. And if he does do that, he should make his 10-point to attack his open 4-point. And if Mary stays on the bar, I confidently predict Scott will double and she will pass. But she has come in with a 4-3. I confidently predict that Scott will double. Mary is thinking about playing safe. I'm not sure what she thinks is the correct play, but her attitude is, when in doubt, make the best move. And so now Scott I believe he should be doubling her. He's down in the match by a little bit. He's got a better board. He's got a lot of attacking chances. He stated his intention to Phil Simborg, his teacher, to put pressure on Mary with a cube, but he could have done so with that before the roll, but he has not done so. And now Mary sees herself as just jokered out, and she just says, "Okay, I'll put him on the bar, whether it's the best play or not. It might well be the best play." And now Scott again does not double. I don't know if he thinks he's now too good to double. possible that he is, but when in doubt, you're not too good to double. And now he's made his 4 point, and he's threatening to make his bar point. And Mary has got, she plays safe again, and at least Scott can just double and win this game. But he may think, okay, I'm too good to double now that Mary has blots on her board, and I might make a 6 point prime right away, or a near 6 point prime, or be able to attack later. Will Mary be able to take a cube in the near future? He seems like he's counting the pips to say, okay, what kind of a race do I have? And he says, all right, I'm just going to double. And Mary's going to drop. I mean, she was going to drop maybe the last 2 rolls in a row. She drops now. Scott Johnston is on the scoreboard. I'm Marty Storer, coming to you from Cleveland. Marriott Airport Hotel in Cleveland, where the Ohio State Backgammon Championships of 2019 is being had. That's been won by Sean Garber from Indianapolis, I believe from Indiana certainly, and Scott Johnston playing the white checkers here in the consolation final of the Ohio State Backgammon Championships is also from the Hoosier Backgammon Club. For foreign listeners, Hoosier is a term for residents of the United States state of Indiana. Now Mary starts with 3-2. She's split to Scott's 4 point. Again, she's ahead in the match, so she doesn't want to make big plays. And now Scott has correctly hit her on his 4 point. He does not want to let her just make that point or run away. And Mary's coming with the 2-6, missing, and she's hit loose on her 2 point to stop Scott from having the full roll to make his 4 point. Scott has hit her, and now Mary has hit him on the 4 point and made an anchor on the point. So she has succeeded in her plan. Her loose hit plan, was good. I think the following roll was 3-1. So Scott did not have the option to make his 4 point, and he couldn't. And now it's 3 men back apiece, and it's a game. Now I'm joined by Neil Kazaross. If he wants to comment with me,
can I be heard?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. So Neil is here. So
Can you make that bigger for me?
I don't know if I can. Maybe I can. Yeah, I can. Oh, that's as big as it gets. So I can move it closer if you want.
Okay, if you want to wait. Okay, I'm having trouble seeing this.
Okay, so if you sit, let's see. If I do this, is it better?
Let me
This? Is that good?
All right, I'm going to order lunch.
Okay.
And I'll come back, and while I'm eating, I'll help out.
Okay, good. That's great. So Neil Kazaross is the #1 points leader of the American Backgammon Tour of all time. He's a great player. He's won countless events, and he's a giant of backgammon. He's a long-standing giant of backgammon. That's a peer election or a peer vote on who the top players are. And Neil's going to be joining us shortly. He's just going to the hotel bar. I'm sitting in the lobby. Now Scott has rolled a Joker 6. He makes his 10 point and his bar point. Makes a nice blockade in front of Mary's 3 back checkers. And what he wants to use that blockade for ultimately is just to come home safely. He wants to put clean checkers onto those points. And now Scott says, so he knows he's the favorite. I double, right? So it seems to be a clear take because Mary, it seems that Mary will be able to hit enough to sit on Scott's 4 point and be able to hit enough of the time. I mean, as Scott tries to come home, he might be forced to leave blots. He's got 2 checkers buried on his 1 point, so they are not available to move. And he's only got, he's got 4 points made, but that takes 8 checkers, and he's got 2 on his 1 point. That's 10. He's got spare checkers on the 8 and midpoint, and he's got a back checker on Mary's 3 point. He's rolled a bad 5-4. He tried to escape his back checker, but Mary pointed out that it was illegal for him to do so. So he has been forced to break his 10 point, And he correctly brought a builder to his 8 and broke the 10-point. Now Mary rolls a 4-3 and she attacks on her 3-point. Now Scott is still the favorite in the game, but now he's rolled a bad double 6 and he has stayed on the bar against Mary's 2-point board. And Mary's got an opportunity to hit a second checker. She's rolled double 4, which is a good number for a non-hit, and she's thinking about what she'll do with all those 4s. She's thinking, okay, I can make the 1-point, or I can make the 5-point. Now the 5-point gives a better blockade. It makes it hard for Scott's back checker to escape, whereas making the 1-point would have left a lot of holes, a hole on the 5-point where Scott could come in and maybe escape. Now Mary made her 5-point correctly, as I believe, and now Scott stayed on the bar against Mary's 3-point board, which was a 1-in-4 shot to stay on the bar with 1 checker. And now Mary has hit in her own outfield. Now Scott is in deep trouble. He's got 2 on the bar, and he stayed on the bar again against the 3-point board, and Mary is now, she's too good to double. That means, she's got the cube, and she is going to try to close her board as quickly as she can. And now with a 2, she could have broken her 8-point or her 7-point to add an extra checker with which to attack in her board, but she's playing a hybrid strategy of being conservative, not giving Scott any accidental great numbers called jokers. And Mary did that. Scott entered with a single 2. So Neil Kazaross is here. Phil Simborg is walking up.
You know why I'm walking up? Because I just won the 2-point minis. That's why I had to leave you. It's much more important who wins the minis.
Phil Simborg reports that he has won a 2-point mini tournament. So he's the 2-point mini tournament champion.
You know the trick to winning the 2-point minis? Number 1, be lucky, and number 2, enter 16 times.
Yes.
I beat Jonas Seawall. It was a good match.
Nice. Okay. So now, so Neil Kazaross is joining me. Mary's got a 5-3. Now she could attack on. She could have blitzed away. She could have hit loose on her 2-point, but she's thinking that, I can often win with the cube, and I don't want to risk getting hit back and losing or losing my opportunity to double. So she played a very conservative play. The natural play would have been to attack on the 2-point with a 5.
She was playing safe because she has the possession of the cube. If she had attacked with the 5, her only 3 was going to have to break the 8-point, creating new builders, but also creating more risk if it blows up in her face.
Didn't she have an outfield checker? Was that
the outfield checker was blocked?
So she couldn't move a 3. So she elected not to attack. So Neil pointed that out.
And here she just continued playing on.
She's playing for the gammon. She's quite correct. It's very rare that Scott will be able to recover. And now she's got her back checkers. Most of them are around, but she can't attack with this even if she wanted to. Now, this is a little hasty. She's playing a 3.
Slow down, Mary.
3 11 to 8. She's looking, and now she's left. She could have played 9 to 6, lifting the blot on her 9-point.
I preferred that.
I prefer that too because it would be a better.
And now look at this
builder position. And now Scott has got to think about which point he enters on.
Well, can Scott take the recube if he makes the 21-point, the 4-point anchor?
That's debatable. It would be a 4 cube. So
right.
A definite maybe, but I'm not so sure.
Can he take the recube if he stays on the 23-point, the 2-point anchor?
That I would be more comfortable personally taking the recube here, but I'm not sure whether he can take it in here. But this way he starts pointing his board, and Mary cautiously does not double. Now the builder that she put onto her 9-point, she can use that builder. She can make her 4-point. For 6-point prime, and then hope to escape her back checker next time. Or she could hope to turn the cube and just say, I won't, maybe Scott will have to pass the cube. The alternative is to escape her back checker. Just run the back checker, give Scott a joker 5-2,
which is not a safe hit.
Not a safe hit. And,
I would have done this.
And so Neil says, you know, I think I agree with Neil. Mary ran away.
I think it's reasonably close.
And she thinks it's reasonably close. So Scott rolled 3-2. He made his 5-point. Mary is rolling on, and now she rolled another 5-4. And there's the 6-point prime.
Mary may not be sure when she's doubling this.
Yeah.
One thing against doubling is Scott has a beautifully timed 2-point game. Note the fact that Mary already has 2 checkers behind the anchor. Scott's timing is magnificent here for a 2-point game. The problem with doubling is, by doubling, Mary's going to get redoubled to 8 as soon as she leaves the shot. Going to get redoubled to 8 for the match as soon as she leaves the shot.
So Mary now cleared her. I agree with Neil on that. Mary cleared her ball point. She figures she's going to have to clear it anyway soon, and she'll give up a 5-4, 17-1 shot to hit, and she'll avoid double blot numbers of 6-5.
There's 2 things that happen against a 2-point game. Bad 6s clearing the bar point because 6s are forced to the ace point. So sometimes you end up rolling 6-5, leaving 2 blots. This is the right play. Clear that.
Yes.
4 numbers to get off of that problem.
And also Scott has got a blot on his board, so even if he hits, Mary will have a whole bunch of numbers.
Scott could hit and Mary could gammon him from the bar.
Correct.
I would simply make the 8-point and bring a builder in.
Yeah, the 8-point can be useful.
8-point has value because you'd like to have points made 6 in front of your open point.
So what he did was he did not make the 8-point. He's probably thinking, I'll spread my checkers out, give myself the best chance to make my 2-point in the short run. But
see, he
had fewer ways to slot the 2-point.
Now Mary's thinking, I would not take a recube here. I might not have taken one for a while. It's a tough position.
Yeah, and if you follow the Woolsey doubling rule, that says if you're not sure whether your opponent has a take, then you should double. That's good because if you're thinking about doubling, you must have an advantage. And there, Mary does it, and your opponent now has the opportunity to make a big mistake, and he passes. He's giving her a 5-1 lead in a 9-point match. 6-1, 5-1.
5-1. He probably should have been doubled earlier. My opinion.
Yeah, Mary. I'm not sure whether Mary's thinking she was too good or not good enough, or both. Both meaning like, okay, she's he could take, but only because of the score. But I win enough gammons that I should, not double.
I believe Mary's winning chances are 73.7%, if I remember right.
Yeah, so I've got this one here. 5-1 to 9 is, yeah, so this would be 9.
0.
Yeah, so
Neil's numbers for in an 8-point match is 6. So 4 times 6 is 24, plus 50 is 74. And there's a slight edge to Mary for being 4 away. So I think the number, remembering off the top of my head, I think it's 73.7.
So this seems to tell me it's 75.
That might be old.
This is not. This is XG.
Oh, really?
Default. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have my.
Ooh.
These are Marty's numbers.
I did the math wrong.
Okay.
74 with a slight edge to Mary. Okay, it could be closer to 75.
Right, and Neil's numbers. If I Neil, this is Neil Kazaross. He's the author of Neil's numbers. It's a mnemonic or memory memorization aid for remembering.
I would have to add slightly to Mary's 74%. Correct.
Right.
I did it back.
So it rounds to 75.
I believe it
by extreme gammon, right?
Maybe it's 74.7.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what it is.
Yeah, so a match equity table for those who don't know is just a table that has an entry for each possible score of your match, and states what the winning probability for each player is. And of course, the winning probability is summed to 100%.
Here,
And so if
here he closes 2 points inside. I agree with that play.
yeah, because now Mary's on the bar, and if she stays on the bar, he would double her because he's got some gammon chance, and he would be wishing to attack. So I'm going to double her here because I don't think he's got enough to do it. But now he's going to switch points. He should at least. I believe he should play
I think he's rolled 2. What's he rolled?
3-1-1, so he could make his 5 point. But
I would hit, and I make a better anchor.
That's right, and that's what he's doing.
And if Mary stays out, she gets the cube. And she's getting the cube because of the score.
She's getting the cube because of the score, and he should just double. He's shaking. He's thinking
Failing
about
to
it.
double here will be a blunder.
But now, okay, he's got a 2-1. He hits.
Come up, pay the double 5.
He should move
Forward.
with
11 to 10.
the same builder.
11 to 10, so he has a new builder for the 4 point.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
It's important.
Sure.
So, yeah, I didn't win.
Oh, good.
2 away, 2 away.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Do you need anything from me to prove that you own me in that little side pool?
Oh, maybe. Okay.
I might need to sign something.
No. Okay. So let's. Okay.
He still didn't double.
He's not around.
Scott still didn't double, and I still think it's a mistake.
You're about to leave?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So let's. So I've got
Scott
a
doubled.
Calcutta auction situation I have to go take care of. So Neil
over.
will take over while I'm.
Again, if I'm Scott, I'm throwing that cube. I don't think it's too good. Four two it is. Okay. Nope. Okay. I'm hitting the second guy somehow. That's for sure. 1, 2, or the other. Uh-oh. So let's say Scott had doubled and Mary taken. She'd own a 2 cube. And she'd be ahead 7-1 if she wins. But if she makes it 4, Scott would make it 8. So Mary would almost, for the match, Mary would almost never return the cube if she owned it. Mary's also going to be cautious about cubing here. She does not want to see high cubes, unless she's a big favorite. Mary does not want Scott to make a second anchor. Although with his 2 and 3 points made, any back game he falls into is not very well timed, but there's really nothing Mary can do about Scott making a second anchor. I don't think I would hit. I would not hit on the ace point here. You can break the bar and hit on the ace. I wouldn't do it. 3 points still open for an anchor, etc. Let's come on, Scott. Make it. Roll a 1 or a 3 and make a game of it. Come in, and when you don't want to play anything on your side of the board, you take a checker that is a spare checker like that and throw it into the outfield. Standard play. Uh-oh, is that double 4? That is crushing. Scott needs a 1 quickly, or he's very likely just to lose a gammon. Mary will be playing on for a gammon from here. I think I'd make the bar point. Could be a useful landing point later. And that aims 2 builders at the open ace point I'd dearly like to make. Both those checkers on the bar point are builders. He's thinking about hitting in the corner. 5-1 back game is not very good, but Getting closed out, getting 2 checkers up on the roof and missing is worse. Okay, cautious is okay. There's a lot of blocks to hit in the corner. It could backfire. Okay, well, Scott survives, but it's not good. What's the number? Is it a 4? A 6, okay. Mary's got a pretty safe play on. There we go. Bring him around. Bring him down. Bring him around. Onward to her gammon, she hopes. Yep, keep playing. I would, 3. This hardly matters. Three for sure. Choose an ace. I would, either way. I probably wouldn't have left the 5-3, but it really doesn't matter. It's unlikely, and it's unlikely to hurt. She's just trying to rush him in so she can pick him off quickly to have even more chance of winning a gammon. And she's in. Now she has only 2 bad big doubles. And I'd make a crossover. I think, well, he's given up on saving the gammon probably, but
So the cube is in the middle, and Mary's playing for the gammon, right?
Yep.
She wants that 7 points instead of 6 points. And yeah, the strategy of this 4, I'm not sure. I think maybe the best thing is to bring a builder in range of the open 4 point, but it's not going to be a huge deal.
it hardly matters.
Yeah.
Now I'm bringing a builder in range.
I'm going to bring one to the
Or
9
builders
point.
I got to bring 2 builders in range.
2 builders in range.
You can stay back there with 3 checkers. As long as he makes 2 crossovers. He was very unlikely to hit anyway, but he wants the best position if he does because he's very unlikely to save this gammon.
So now 6-3, he'll just cross to the 6 point if he can.
Yep, play to the 6 now if you can.
Yep. Mary is very likely to win gammon. And if she does win a gammon, I believe he should just play 1 from the midpoint to the 6 point.
This
doesn't matter.
That's okay.
Much. This is okay. Now the midpoint is not a good place for gammon saving checkers.
No, it's not.
But the 18 point is.
Yes.
And he moved to checker to the 18, but a 5-1.
Make
so
2
he's going to
crossovers and diversify.
There's 1 and diversify. Yeah. And that's Gamon. Is that a Gamon?
Yes.
Yeah, it is a Gamon, right? That's double 6s will not do it, and Scott agrees with that, and he concedes a gammon.
Let me go see where my burger's gone.
All right.
Should have been up by now. I don't see the guy there. He's probably getting it in the kitchen.
So Mary Hickey is now she's won 2 points, an undoubled gammon from 5-1 ahead to 9. She now leads 7-1 in the 9 point match.
So, oh my God. So Mary's equity is 87.5%.
More than that, she's a better player. As much as I love Scott, he's not as good a player as Mary.
I won't deny that.
So Scott asked me for advice. I said, well, let me quote Neil Kazaross. When I went to do a big tournament, he said, and I was playing Stankiewicz. He said, pressure him with the cube. So I said the same thing to him today. Has he been cubing too soon?
Yeah, so this says
I don't
this
think
says
so.
this table here says 88%, which is just what you said, 87.7 or something. That would be equal players. That's the Extreme Gammon default match equity table. Extreme Gammon is an analysis tool for backgammon.
Okay, but yesterday I was losing to Fogerlund 9-0 in a match to 11, and then I got to 10-9. I was winning. So you never give up. You just keep fighting. By the way, I lost, but it was fun. What's happening? A break?
The players are on break.
Mhm.
I'd take a break too if I was losing 7-1. That's smart. Well, Scott takes a break for another reason. He still smokes.
Oh,
He's going to have a cigarette.
I was behind 7-1. I might want to smoke something stronger than a cigarette.
Yeah.
a different sort of cigarette.
Well, that's legal now in a lot of places.
I don't think it's legal in Ohio.
No,
We're not in Michigan.
that's right.
We're not in Massachusetts. We're not in New Hampshire. New Hampshire just passed it. I'm from New Hampshire.
Our new governor in Illinois says he's pushing to pass it.
Well, it's not. It's in Illinois.
He's
but
faced,
medical.
medical's been legal for a while in Illinois.
Yeah.
And New Hampshire, I believe.
Yeah.
And Massachusetts,
And Massachusetts,
forever.
yes,
forever.
forever.
But recreational marijuana is now legal in Massachusetts.
Yes. Where's my lunch?
Recreational marijuana is not the best idea while you're playing backgammon.
No, it's
however,
not.
I think there's better drugs.
It hurts your short-term memory. I don't recommend using marijuana to anybody
That's
unless you've got a pain-killing reason or a health reason.
By the way, I do know, and I'm not going to name names. I know a very, very top professional poker player that says he cannot sit down to the table unless he's had a joint or two, and he does it consistently. And he's not the only one. So he says it cools his nerves, it makes him think better. That's what he believes. So it could be a placebo or it could be true, but he cannot play without it.
Yikes.
Yex is right. I think it's nuts.
I think it hurts your short-term memory. I think that's pretty unequivocally stated by those who should know.
What about long-term memory? No difference?
I'm not sure. I don't think it's. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't say what I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Let's talk about the match. Are they playing well? I haven't been watching.
I don't have. I've got XG on my computer, but I don't.
Yeah.
I can't comment.
Did you see any glaring errors that you saw?
Yeah, there were a few. Okay,
A few? Okay.
so Scott didn't double soon enough a couple of times, and that kind of thing.
Really, it's exactly the opposite of what I told him before the match. He's my student, and he asked me for some advice. I said, "Well, Mary's a very strong player. Put pressure on it."
And
with the cue.
he has opened with 5-1, and he slotted his 5-point. Now that's the kind of play you should make when you're behind in the match. And
That for sure is the right play to score.
Mary has responded with double ones, and instead of hitting that block, she made her 7 and 5 points. She's got to start of a 4-point.
Would you ever hit that blot? Would you hit that blot at Gammon Go, for example, with a double one?
No.
You'd never hit it with double ones.
Gammon Go, you want to make primes and to make a board.
So it's always wrong to hit it with double one.
Well, after an opening 5-1, she's on the side slotting after an opening 5-1 is only a 2-1 favorite to make that point next turn.
Right.
And now it looks like Mary has rolled double. Scott is not covered. He's rolled 5-4, brought 2 builders down. Mary rolled double 3. Nice joker. And she made her 21 points. She got an anchor on Scott's 4-point and his board.
The time when it's correct to hit a slot is a 4-1 slot with double one. Hit the 4-1 slot with double one.
Okay, what about 2-1? The 2-1 makes it harder to make the 2 points because if they. They brought the one.
Well, they have a 6. They have a 6 off the bar.
Making 2 points is a little better.
Okay.
Because a 6, if you hit with a double one against an opening 2-1 slot, they can hit you back with 6s, which are no good for coming in. I think that's a critical factor. And the 4-1 slots the nice 9-point as well.
Right.
So you have fewer return shots against you after hitting, and you destroy a slot in a position where your opponent is likely to make the 5-point and make the 9-point, and use the 9-point builder to make the 4-point or the bar point.
So you have a lot more to gain by hitting.
It's a
Because your
shame
opponent
that everybody
is
I talk
threatening.
to says it's a shame that XG doesn't come with explanations. And I'm working with Xavier on the possibility of maybe having a recording of Marty Storer or Neil or somebody who knows what they're talking about say, here's why you do it.
Here's why you do
for the
it.
first couple plays.
How about for
For the first
XG3?
couple of plays.
Yeah,
For XG3.
for XG3, we talked about it yesterday. Neil and I and Xavier spent some time together talking about the next version.
So
And that's something
so
I'd
now,
really like to see.
yeah. So Neil Kazaross is the only human I know who's got a beta copy of Extreme Gammon version 3.
I do.
Oh, Phil does. Oh, 2 of them. So they've got
Mochi
big,
does. The
and
three of us.
Mochi.
That's it.
Okay,
And
so
Chris
they-
Yep. No, Chris Yep has
and
a
Chris, yep. So these four players have got a big advantage over the rest of us.
No, we don't.
He says, no, we don't. Yeah, of course not.
That's not the reason we have a big advantage.
Oh, right.
So anyway, I'm just jealous, right? So
Note that Scott chose to make his 2-point instead of his 5-point. Trying to block Mary a little more and just using that stack of checkers on his 6-point.
yeah, he's probably right. His
I
game
think he's
plan is to get the heck out of
Right.
Mary's board, and if she can escape her back checkers of the outfield, she can cover the outfield more effectively. Now, in the future, for the future, it's you'd rather have the 5-point, but for the immediate couple of rolls, the 9-point, 8-point, 6-point is better. But now Mary, though it's all a pipe dream, Mary's made a 5-point prime.
And she's playing for a Gammon again.
And she's playing for Gammon again because it's likely that Scott will have some very tough choices. He's going to have to start breaking his outfield points. If Mary wants an undoubled Gammon, that will be the match. She'll have 9 points.
And
it's
the
a
other
9-point
reason to
match.
play for the Gammon is she's in such a strong position. If things go poorly, she can always double them out later if things don't go well.
And it takes like a super miracle for things to go well. Now she's thinking about should she split her back checkers?
Try to
I'm
pick up more
slotting, I'm
Will she hit
slotting the
more
8-point.
often?
I'm slotting the 8-point, keeping staying back to get more shots. Oh, she's
Because
splitting,
because
yes.
because there are certain 5s that are really bad if you keep the 21 anchor. Like five.
I
six
would
be real bad.
put checkers together outside. I would not slot the 8-point and split. Something stupid could happen.
I would have just slotted the 8-point without the split.
I wasn't sure on the split.
I'm inclined. Yeah, I would have certainly thought about it.
Oh, and we would have been hit with a 1-6.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, she was right. By the way, look at the pace of this match compared to the last one. I was complaining that the other 2 players were just not taking their time. These players are thinking about the plays, which is what you need to do. You got plenty of time on this
And
clock.
Scott pops a checker out of Mary's board,
Not having a real choice in the matter.
and he didn't want to leave a double shot to get a
Ooh,
third
she's
checker
not leaving
back.
it slotted. I would
She's
have left it
not
slotted.
leaving it slotted.
She doesn't really need it.
Doesn't need
She
it?
needs a third checker.
I see.
And there's a 2-1.
Now
So
she needs
now,
it.
Great roll.
now he's at the edge.
I would have left it slotted.
And
I might have left it slotted because it's only
It was
a
okay.
3-point board
It's
and
only
all
like-
that stuff, yeah.
you're paying off to a couple jokers. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now she's going to say, okay, now I'm going to play safe.
Yep.
And make the 12-point.
Now, the only thing that
Probably
can
right.
help Scott is the 6-6.
Well, there's partial
Slotted.
fractions. He could roll 6-2, miss, 6-5, miss, run away, attack, followed by escape, that kind of thing. So he's not dead yet. Still got some life
I'm
left.
not going to hit.
So-
He ain't breathing too much,
So
and I like
hitting-
what
Hitting is a little tough. He
I
could-
like
he
what
could-
my friend Kenny Bond says: when your opponent's not breathing too much, step on his air hose. And
Yeah.
that's what Mary's doing right now.
So now Scott has decided not to switch from the 6 to his 4-point and hit, because Mary could then hit back with a 1, and he wouldn't stand to gain much anyway. So he's
I don't like that play.
Oh,
I wouldn't
this
stay
is
on the
interesting.
9-point.
This is interesting. An anti-joker double maintains an anti-joker double 5.
I
Mary
really don't like
Mary will
that
have to break her 6-point. She rolls a double 5 right away.
Why did he stay on the 9-point?
Because
Mary's double
to
5.
block double 5s.
Block double 5s.
Now that's that's not the only thing that's going on in the position, but it's something countable that we can see as commentators, right? And I believe that's probably what Scott was thinking.
You think it's right?
That I don't know.
I think it's right.
It'd be a big psychological blow to Mary if she were to roll a double 5.
Yeah, you guess.
If she say, "Oh
you gotta
crap,
hope
was
for
I
something,
right?
I guess.
Was
Right.
I right to play on for
You
Gammon?"
lose 7-1, you got to hope for something.
Yeah. Now she's thinking about doubling. She says, what are my winning chances? What does he need to take?
I would not double this. But Mary must know better than me. I know she's a better player than me.
Well, if this is a small pass,
I would not double this.
And he passes, right? So that's.
I don't think it's a small pass. I think it's too good. I think it was way too good. You take a roll. As long as you don't roll double 5, what can happen? You can roll double 6.
Scott rolls double 6s.
Yeah,
Scott,
okay.
Scott hits you and you
Or
stay on
Scott,
the bar.
Scott,
and then
picks, Scott hits you.
But that never
escapes.
happens to me.
Yeah. And and if you double again, if you're not sure whether your opponent has a take, then you could double and put the question to your opponent.
Change the score,
It's
right?
possible. It's
Isn't it
possible.
8-1?
It's 8-1, right? It's 8-1 Crawford.
8-1 Crawford.
They haven't
They
updated
haven't
the.
changed the score. Should
they
I go
haven't-
in there and change it? Is that legal?
I don't know.
they
No,
changed
they're
it.
they're
Good.
going to fix it. So
Crawford.
now it's the Crawford game.
Crawford means that Scott cannot double for one game. But if he wins this game, then he can double every time, and he should.
And Mary can't double either.
Mary could, but
No,
it would
she
be
couldn't.
silly. In the old rules, she could. Now they've changed the rules that you can't give a cube that shouldn't legally be given, reasonably given. I like the new rule better.
I do too. If that's indeed the rule, then that's a good rule.
Although there's some that argue if somebody's stupid enough not to know the score, they should be punished.
I disagree.
Okay, now Scott has rolled a. Scott is in a match situation called Gammon Go. That means you want to win a gammon. A gammon is inordinately valuable. If he wins a gammon, if he gets 2 points, he'll have 3. And he'll need 6 points, and he'll be able to use the cube. If he got 1 point, he would have 2. And then if he just won 2 points every game, he would go from 4 to 6 to 8 to 9. So we'd need 4 of those 2-point wins.
And Mary would have a free drop, which means that it wouldn't even hurt if he
No,
rolled really good at the beginning. She could just drop the cube.
A free take. She'd have a free take.
Free take.
Because if she had 2, then a drop would put him at even number of points away.
Okay.
So you want to be, if you're behind after the Crawford game, in other words, you automatically double, then because your opponent can't lose by doubling.
By the way, the other side of the coin is
Then-
Mary needs to be conscious of the fact that she does not want to get gammon. She wants to win the game, but a gammon hurts her as much as it helps Scott. So looking at the score before you start is critical.
That's right. So it looks like Scott decided to bring a builder down, and he got hit, and he fanned.
Do you hit the second checker or make the 5-point here?
Make the 5 point. Well, hit the second. Interesting. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I hit the second checker, I think, because of gammons. If gammons didn't matter, I think I make the 5-point.
Mary doesn't need a gammon.
Yeah, I should have knew Gallon, but
Oh, that's Mary. That's right.
Mary's
right.
Mary's the black checker.
I was inclined to hit the second checker because I was breaking my 8-point to make the 5-point.
Yeah,
And you can always make the 5-point next time.
Well, she had builders for it. 5
Yeah,
and 4, both
that's
points
right.
are good.
So Scott stays on the bar. Mary's the favorite in the Crawford game.
Well, there's another very important reason that we want Mary to win. I own her in the Calcutta.
Yeah,
There's a Calcutta auction where you buy players. And I bought Alan Tish, and he came in second. And now,
here's a hit. Here's a hit from the bar in
Wow.
with a 2 hit.
all right, Scott.
Mary ran out with her back checker. She couldn't make her 8-point legally, so she didn't. And now Scott is thinking, like, what do I do with my final 2? In with 1, hit with the second and third hit.
I played big. I split.
What is big? Okay,
Split the back checker.
So that's
I don't want to be stuck with 3
That's-
checkers on my deuce.
I think so.
I like this play.
now Mary. That's a good reply because she can make her 8-point and
Very nice.
and no more blots in the outfield.
And when your opponent's sitting on the 2-point, having the 8-point is very, very valuable. It's like owning the bar point when your opponent's on the 1-point.
Yep. Now Mary's got a 5-1, and that's not very good.
Scott has a 5-1.
Oh, Scott. I mean Scott.
I would
White.
run out. Out you go.
Yeah, and there's no better one than to keep going. Just taking some extra chance by leaving a blot on the 15-point and 9-point, but those blots can be profitably used if they're not hit. The 9-point is a builder. The 15-point could be used to make 9-point. Mary says, I'm gonna just move,
She has no choice.
because otherwise I might waste
6
tips.
hit.
6
4
hit.
for a builder.
Yeah.
Hope Mary misses, and then you got a nice array of checkers there to make a 6 prime or blitz Mary or whatever.
Right.
You get hit, play the 2-point game.
So I think there are 12 numbers out of 36 hit.
That's correct.
6
12
hit
hit,
those,
12 shots.
4 more hit
And
on
2
the
more.
9, and then 2 more hit on the 11. So it's 10 to 12. And Mary did. She hit it, and now Scott is going to hit her right back. He has no choice in the matter.
Scott has.
Now it's gone up to 18 now.
Scott can easily get gammon, but it doesn't matter. The extra point doesn't matter. Scott just bangs away.
Gammons do not count double. Mary comes in the higher point. She doesn't come all the way up to the 5-point because Scott urgently wants to make that point.
And Scott has 5 builders to make that
And
point.
he's got 5 builders to make. But now her strategy's borne fruit because I think he should just make the bar and come down to the 10. He
Right.
can make the 9 as well.
Bar.
Making the 9 is all right. But now he's got to leave blots. He's got to leave a blot. And by making the bar point is part of a nice.
This is an extremely easy play. No, you don't do that. You make the bar point, and bring the builder down. You have all kinds of builders aiming at your 5 points.
Correct. I believe so. Now Mary's hit twice. She would have hit once the other way. But,
Yep.
And the one problem with the play Scott made was he put a checker on his 3-point, which is not the ideal point he wants to make. Yeah. He'd much rather make his 5-point his 9-point. Now Scott has entered with 1 checker, but he's still on the bar, and there's a double shot.
5.
He has missed for the 5-3.
I come down, I pay the 6-4.
It's a more flexible play.
I wouldn't do that.
Mary doesn't want to leave Scott even a joker 6-4. Joker 6-4.
Mary's play's not
And
terrible.
there's a 4-2. Now Scott's in it. He's got a double anchor. He's got a double anchor for an ambush defense. Ambush defense. A backgammon-like structure. Now Mary says, all right, we'll play flexibly.
Note again, Mary's 2 checkers behind the 2-point out of play.
Now Scott could hit, but I don't believe he should. I believe he should wait.
I would wait. I think. Let me look at it more.
Yeah, it's a tough decision. I'd be inclined to wait just because it's too hard to put Humpty Dumpty together.
Yeah,
But now Mary's got no real choice. She's got to make a bar point.
and that's an awkward point.
Yeah, she
To
might
clear.
have trouble clearing it. She knows that. She's hesitating, but there's really nothing better. It makes it easier for the outside checker to come home.
Yep.
And she might be able to.
Big
The 5-2.
Get out.
Nice roll. She can. Now Scott can come all the way out, or he can stop on the 21 point.
Either way, it's
Thinking
okay.
about it.
2 comes up no matter what.
The third checker is serving no good purpose back.
Other than
behind
to get trapped and force Scott into a crash situation with the wrong numbers. Okay, that's fine.
You want to keep these checkers flowing. And he doesn't come out. The trouble with coming out would have been that Mary
Getting hit
could hit. But now Mary says, all right, I'm going to clear my bar point while I can, just like she did in the other game.
Yep.
And this is a slightly different situation, but the same principle applies in her mind, and probably is correct. Right? And now Scott is making his board up. He makes his 5-point. He slots the next target playing his 3-point. B1 for Mary, no clear. She says, all right. I'm going to leave 5 numbers only to hit. Yeah, five numbers. And then that's not one of them.
Go.
And he says,
No.
I'm not going to go. What he's risking by not going with a spare checker is that
He gets
he
stuck.
gets it trapped. He can't move it next turn. He rolls double 4s or something like that, double 2s, and he can't move it, and he has to break his board.
Yeah, he clearly should have gone there.
And now Mary she clears her 8-point, and this is forced. I mean,
Forced play.
she
Nothing to think about.
She can't do any better than this.
When you see that you cannot bring the blot
Now it's
to safety, Your play is forced.
So it's gone up to 8 numbers, 8 hitting numbers. And there it is.
And we see the problem with being
Scott hits.
slotted, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep. But Mary might. Oh, she comes out.
God.
Hey, Mary's rolling well.
Yep. So that's a 2-to-1 favorite with that checker. And he does not hit that checker.
What's the roll?
4-3.
Oh my goodness. That's not good.
Any
I
6
do-
or 1
I
or
guess you-
combination, that's 24 out of the 36 numbers, and he did not.
I think you do
Did not
the ones,
do it.
don't you? What do you do?
I don't know.
I come out,
Come out and then what?
hit off to the 6.
Come out and
Yeah, the 6, okay.
Come out
Yeah, that's
somehow.
what, that's
Did
what
it?
he's doing.
Yes. Maybe you're talking too loud. They're 4 blocks away, but maybe they heard you. That was great.
Well, there's the 5-1. She's going to head outside.
Yeah.
He may come in and remake that deuce point,
Maybe.
or he could hit with. He's got 4 numbers set now: 4-5-2-5, 4-4, 5 numbers, and now he fanned. Right.
Yep.
He still has a chance to
Oh,
remake that 2
yeah.
point. And Mary is 6-4. She can bounce him off the 2 point, or she can play safe.
I'm playing safe.
I too am playing safe.
Safely.
By playing safely,
Drive
she also
slow,
makes sure she's going to bear a checker off this game.
drive slow, drive safe. Drive safe.
I think it's close.
You think it's close?
Yeah.
Must too. Look at her. She's really looking at
The
it.
problem is when this doesn't clean up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right. So 6x. If she rolls 6-4, she can clean up with a
This is
6.
nice to get him
If
off
she
the
rolls
2 point.
5,
Oh,
hit.
Hit.
Okay, so this is the downside. It also keeps them from making
Right.
his 2 point right away. And there's another 1-6.
If you can hop 4 primes from the bar, you can play anything you want.
yeah.
There are no immediate hitting numbers for white, but he remakes the 23 anchor.
That's why Mary hit. She was trying to prevent that.
Yeah,
Because by playing safe, she was so awkward. And if Scott rolled a 2 when Mary played safe, and Mary played safely earlier, a couple turns ago, he would have had good timing for this.
correct.
No, don't do that.
Oh no, he
Oh, my
slaughters
God,
one.
no.
He leaves a checker back. He could have played. What he could have done is he could have played. He could have broken the 4 point. There's 4 point.
Yeah, we're all double
Or he
threes.
could have
Brought it home
advanced.
beautifully.
He could have advanced. He should,
Yeah,
advancing was
yes,
instant.
Yeah.
Okay, now he's not. He does not make the 1 point for the 1. And now Mary came in with a double 3. Now she's bearing off 4 with a double 6. She still has a lot of 3s and 1s, with which she's will be forced to leave a double shot.
That sounds like about 20 numbers.
Now maybe he's not making. Maybe he should.
23s and 1s and 16 that don't have a 3 or a 1.
There's
There it
a
is.
1.
Double
2
shot.
off.
Double shot.
This
Now
might be the last
he's got
shot
20
he gets.
numbers. 16 misses, 20 numbers. But if he hits with those 2
5
blocks,
to 4 favorite. 5 out of 9, and he hits with a 3-2.
good,
Okay.
good.
And advance
Smart
to 2,
save.
so you have a number to cover your 2 point.
He's got. I don't think he adds anything.
What are you doing?
He's got double 6s and double 4s.
Well, he
already.
gets 6s if he advances.
He's got double.
Uh-oh.
He has double 6s already.
Mary has another play.
You hit
No,
twice.
American twice.
Hit twice.
I hit once.
You hit when you come in on the
She's
1?
got a lot of checkers off.
I hit twice.
I do not. I hit
Neil,
once.
you must hit twice here. It's much more fun.
I don't want to have fun. I want
I don't want to have 2 checkers.
I want to win
set.
my match, take my money, and go home.
That's your idea of fun,
Gammons
huh?
don't
Yes, it
count
is.
double for you. Gammons do not count double for Mary.
All right,
Mary
Mary.
is going to hit
Yes,
twice. It looks
Mary.
like. Mary,
That's my girl. That's
Mary,
my girl.
Mary wants to please Phil. Now she's still looking at it. But now
Mary.
she takes it.
Yes, Mary. Good for you.
And it's a cool looking play. And
I'm gonna
Mary
play
likes
like
to
Neil
make,
Kazaross or
Mary,
Phil
Mary
Simborg.
likes to make LRC
How
plays.
could she
Looks
hit
really
twice?
cool.
That was stupid.
And now Mary hit twice and Scott hit back.
She
And
got
Mary can
penalized
still. Mary's in with the.
Why didn't she
deuce.
listen to Neil? What an idiot. Made my play. I can't wait to see that next game.
Fives. Okay, interesting choices.
Who's favorite now in this game?
Well, now white is favored.
White is
White
favorite?
is clearly favorite. In
Clearly-
spite of that awful check around his ace point, White is favorite.
Okay.
That checker on that ace point does not belong there. It never should have been put there.
Well, I like it. Yeah, I like what, that's another reason to hit twice, so maybe get rid of it. Yeah. I like what McGrill says. You listen to the checkers, they tell you where they want to be. They don't want to be on the ace point. You never hear a checker say, "Put me on the ace point, please."
So Scott is trying to figure out what to do with those double fives. He's got many choices.
Yeah.
And he's left a couple of blots in the outfield. And I'm not sure this is
I'm not sure about
the
those
best idea.
indirects. I don't see the point of it.
Yeah. But no indirect. 4-2 and
One thing a lot of people
spare
do here
checker
is
buried to the
they
1
figure
point.
out how to block double fives and double sixes because those are the rolls that can really kill you. With that many checkers in the outfield, it might not be a bad idea. Often it's wrong, though.
Yeah.
I always have a problem with that. Do I block the double sixes or do I give myself flexibility?
Now, he can block double sixes by making a 14 point.
It did. I think with this many checkers back, that's right.
Possibly so. Oh, no. Okay. Now, Mary must leave. So go all the way. She can't afford to break her 3 points.
A boom.
The boom, except double threes.
Double threes hit loose.
Oh, it hit loose? Okay.
Instantly, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Hit it.
4-2.
Nothing to think about. Hit.
Hit and
Hit and builder.
bring the builder to the
Yeah,
8.
when you're Neil Kazaross, there's nothing to think about. A lot of people wouldn't hit there.
Oh, double hit back.
Oh, now he doesn't have to worry about that blot on the ace anymore.
What did I know?
And hopefully, Scott hopes to come in right away. And he does. Brings both checkers in, and he can lift his 8-point block,
I'm lifting.
which he will do.
And then I'm splitting.
Confidently predict
Then I'm
he'll do it.
splitting in the back.
I confidently predict he'll do that.
Lift.
Oh, no, don't
No, do
switch
not
sides.
shift. No.
He's looking at it. He's looking at it. Oh, it hurts. Oh, it hurts. It's going to hurt. He's broken his solid 4-point prime. Just for the privilege of putting Mary in the bar, but he could have played much more safely. Here's a double 3. I think he should make the 8-point and block double 4s, but I don't know. Could diversify.
I'd make the 8
That's 2. That's 4.
some kind of outfield
That's
coverage.
illegal.
Nice play. Put it back on the blue.
It would be better off on the 16 point where Scott initially put it, because that would aim at the 15, aim at his own 10 point.
Look at this. Look at this.
Wow. See, it was
Now-
right to switch. He gets another checker.
That could have happened anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. And Mary left the third
You
block.
also could have forced Mary to
There's no
break it with an ace.
penalty for the third block. I mean, except losing chance, more
Well, you lose
winning
often.
chances. You lose more often, right?
More often.
But you can't gammon him or backgammon him.
Hit it and
For
split
her,
it.
I mean,
Split the 8-point.
and he
Good.
does. Okay.
He's back on track.
Back on track. Hopefully, Mary enters with a vengeance. Now she's ready to put hotels on those 1 points. Got a 1-point monopoly.
Here's a nice roll.
She can't cover anything. She
This
can't
is the
cover her
he
bar
can't.
point.
This is the worst roll
can't
imaginable.
Yeah.
She can't cover her bar point or her 4 point.
Even double six covered. Oh, my God.
Everything else covers something. I believe. Confidently predict everything else but this. Double 5s covers
Wow.
the 7 point.
I would just play to my 6-point. Let her shoot.
Let her shoot.
Yeah, maximum builders give her a mere double shot at it.
There is no chapter in any book on these plays. You just got to feel. You just got to understand them. This is where actually he breaks down that Xavier said they're going to improve next time too. This kind of containment game.
I don't like leaving. I don't like this.
This is double hit numbers.
It's okay. That play was okay, but if 2 checkers get hit,
There's a single.
if 2 checkers get hit, there's more checkers to pound.
Then he rolled double 1s.
It's
and
a
he
1
never
or a
moved
3.
again.
Nope, you didn't get it.
4 cover.
Yeah.
In and cover.
Ooh, don't think about it. Okay, he covers.
I would cover before I hit on the outside.
And here comes the hapless blot. Oh, it's not so hapless. It's hitting.
It's probably it may be coming back, or if it doesn't come back, big deal. And you
There's
squeeze.
a bunch
and
of
you
numbers
squeeze-
there. There's
Ooh.
the fatal.
Ooh,
Could be the fatal
that's the
lozenge.
fun of backgammon.
Somebody wants
36 to
6.
Double 6.
Oh my
I called it
God
before the
and
roll.
heavens!
I called it before the roll.
But now what do you do?
If we keep the same 2 checkers going. How do you net, don't you?
How many shots are you leaving?
Yeah, so you're
This is safer. Yeah, 6s and 5s come in.
Ace
It's
is
gonna be a lot
missed.
harder to bring home, though. I might have kept him going.
No ace hits you.
The other reason to keep him going is if you get hit, you might still only have one checker back. You're more likely to have two checkers back by splitting.
It might only be 19 shots after this play. But not after
Oh
this.
my God.
After this
No,
play.
that's playable.
Hey, that's,
After this play,
I
it's,
didn't see that.
Yeah, I know
like
you did.
that.
This
it's
is
a lot
playable.
fewer. It's a lot fewer shots.
Yeah.
Well, let's count them.
12, 13 shots. Double two, double three, plus sixes.
How about
Double five.
How about 15 shots? How about double four?
Double five. Didn't see
How about
that.
double five?
Well,
Yeah.
you know, you guys, you're going to count everything.
And then now Scott is hit.
Oh, he hit. Yeah. That was a great play by Mary.
I'm not
didn't see that.
convinced.
Well, I'm not either, but it's because she could sometimes win if she only had two checkers closed out. Not very often, but now he's gonna hit them all. Now he hits them all.
So assuming he
But then we
wins,
could go back and we could revert with a hey Joe.
I'm guessing Mary's play was probably right, but I'm not convinced. I would have looked at it longer.
So,
Mary's play, if she got away with it, she
Yeah.
could have been able to attack
Neil, what
Scott's
was your
other
play?
blocks.
What was
I
your
wasn't
play?
sure.
I would have either kept him going or the hit.
I hadn't counted shots if I kept them going.
That's an interesting play. Like I said, there's no book on that stuff. You just gotta count shots and count your odds of getting by. If you don't
The
get
thing
it,
is, Mary's in bad shape with two closed out or three. She very rarely would win with two closed out because she has too many checkers remaining.
uh-huh.
So Scott, if Scott closed out just two, he's over 90%.
Well, two closed out and two on the ace is pass. It's not even 20.
Flip a coin. Depends where the spares
Yeah,
are.
it's a flip a coin for money. So that means it's around 22, 23%.
And there's four on the ace, six on the ace.
Yeah. So you're right. Closed
Four
out
on the
like that.
four on the ace, I wouldn't have left three blocks. I would with four on the ace, I would have found the play for Mary that didn't leave three blocks.
I got you. Well, to me, that meant continuing. We'll see. I can't wait to see that play. That's one of the most interesting plays I've seen in the tournament.
It's interesting, yes. Didn't work either. Now Scott is trying to squeeze her out.
Yeah. Notice Scott has 2 minutes on the clock. That's plenty of time. But if the match drags on, it could start getting a little tight. Mary's got 7. That's unusual. Mary usually takes plenty of time. Maybe she hasn't had that many hard decisions.
I thought double six was hard.
Yeah, she didn't take a lot of time on that
I would have
either.
taken more.
I would have either too.
There was more to it than just counting shots.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't get hit next roll. I was bringing them home. Well, Scott's a big favorite here to win. I'll bet you anything he doesn't win a gammon. Because Mary's got checkers off.
Well, give me 100 to 1 on that.
All right, you got that.
I'll pass.
You're too nice.
Scott should just make the.
By the way, I
top
won
line.
that bet before.
That doesn't surprise me.
All right. Is this 28 hits?
No,
How many hits is 6s and 5s?
that was 6s and 7s is 21.
Oh, 6s and 7s. I thought it was 6s and 5s.
Bingo. This is the right plan for Scott on this position.
Yeah.
A different plan for Scott can be against three checkers back is to let one go and try to squeeze them out with the other two.
Yeah, that's
But that's
often that's when you need a gammon and you can't possibly get a gammon here. So
Correct.
you don't even think about it.
And this
So
is
this is the same game, and now
and this is a huge.
Mary has made the ace point.
Scott is a huge favorite here because Mary again has 6 checkers on her ace point.
Yeah.
Mary is,
A monopoly on the ace points.
for Mary to
Build
win
her
this,
count.
she's going to need a rather quick 6-6 and then hope, or she's going to need a hit and a miracle.
Yeah. So I think this is the right idea to spread the spares out. Got a double 5 blot number and a 6-5 blot number, but now is he going to play safe? I think,
Let's
right?
assume that Scott wins the point. The score goes to 8-2. Now, I tell all my students it's odd to have a free drop. And since she has an even score, she's not odd, which means that Mary will have a free drop next game. which means that if Scott gets an
No,
opening,
she
No,
won't.
she won't. She'll
No,
have a
she
free
won't. She
take
has a free
because
take.
because
she's a free
she'll
take.
have a free take.
I'm sorry, I got it backwards. It's
Right.
odd to have a free drop if she had an odd score. So she must take the cube. Her take point is like 2%, 3%,
Unless she has to worry about getting gammon.
gammons, right? Unless there's a lot of gammons, it's good. She has
So
to take
Scott
everything.
might fool around and not double and try to steal a point.
Yeah, that's not a good idea against the.
I would
giant.
not be doing that against Mary when I have only 2.25 minutes on my
Yeah,
clock.
tell me the truth
No,
though.
yeah,
You do
yeah.
it against me though.
Double fives.
Yeah, I
Here
would
comes the
actually.
Joker.
Yeah, I know you.
So is Mary going
Yeah, I
to
would actually.
Is Mary going to put
Why
one,
not?
keep 2 checkers there, or is she going to run like a rabbit? I
Well,
think she's going to keep at least 1 checker.
Keep running and look.
Yes, those two are forced. So you make the play that's forced, and then you look, like Neil says. Do what you have to do anytime you have a play that's forced. Make it and then look. It's easier to find the rest. I stay with 1. I don't think you can win without a hit.
If you stay with both. I know I'm staying with something.
I like that play. That's my play.
There's
a
blot.
shot.
There it is.
There's the shot.
There's a blot. You should hit her out.
Get her
Blot
out of
the
there.
hair.
Kaboom, smack.
That leaves an even number of checkers.
By the way, when you hit,
Oh no! Now
when you
now-
hit, there's
now
fewer repeaters
That's right. Get her out of the hair, and the repeaters go away.
because she could roll a 6
The
or a
repeaters
5.
stick
They
around.
don't go away, but they
Well, she dances a quarter of the time, then he leaves a
Why
blind
is,
6
why
at
is
a
he
time.
moving? Oh, okay.
So there's 1 in 24 chance of a repeater.
that's right. And some of those are double block
There's the
numbers.
reason you hit.
That's
She's gone.
All of the repeaters were.
Yeah, and
all
she's-
other repeaters were not covering the ace point, so there were more
That
repeaters
was
than
the
that.
best. That was the best.
1 in 4
way.
chance of a double blot. This is over.
So now, okay, the match continues. The match continues as oh, thank you. Match continues as Scott Johnston brings this game home, and he will be behind unless there's a super miracle by Mary.
All right, I'm going to go give Mary some advice. Because I went her in the Calcutta. I got to help her.
Mary's not giving up. She sees that she it doesn't pay her to give up if she doesn't.
Mary
know
should
what
have
to do.
crossed over and prayed for double 6s without which she had no chance. But that hardly matters. Throwing away 1/100th of 1% doesn't really matter in this game. It's just technical purity. This is over.
No, you better cross over. Yeah.
Crossover and maybe
You
Scott.
get
Maybe,
three checkers off.
maybe Scott rolls 2-1 4 times in a row.
3 checkers off leaves you with 6. Yep, there we go. There's the 3 1s. Now it's possible.
Nothing
for,
to think about. Spread them out.
possible for Mary to win. No, she gives up. She rolls double 6s. She has 6, 2, 1. No, she gave up too soon. If she only has 6.
What's she giving up for? She doesn't cross over. Now she gives up.
Yeah,
I'm talking about not crossing over with the 2.
with the 2. Yeah, yeah. She should. Well, it's no. He could roll. He could roll
Really?
2 1 2 1 2 1 or
2-1 2-1 2-1 wins.
2 1 2 1 2 1.
Rolls 2-1. She
okay.
rolls boxes.
No, well, it's her. She's on roll though. She's on roll. So if she can roll, she can take off.
I think
3.
she said she couldn't win.
Well, if she was on roll, she could have won. She could have taken off 3, and then he could roll a 2-1, and then she could take off 4, and then she's down to 2.
Then he can miss.
Then he can miss. Or 3-1.
That's what I
even
thought.
after 3-1 he could miss, or 1-1 he could miss.
I wouldn't have given up.
3-2 after 3-2 he could miss.
I wouldn't have given up.
What is this money stuff? Well, that's Phil's paying them to.
Don't tell me they're on break again. Let's go, folks. Play backgammon.
Yeah, the commentators are impatient here.
Well, the commentators have almost 6 hours to drive home and may not stick around for too many more games.
Well, this
Commentators are.
commentator scheduled a flight for tomorrow, so I thought I might, if I weren't alive in the late rounds, I could comment or commentate. But Neil's riding back to Chicago.
Neil's checking his time.
Mary's grinning. Where'd that money go? Maybe.
Maybe Scott took a break.
Mary looks like she got her purse out. Maybe the money was for her. And here's Phil to explain.
What was all that money about? What was the money you put on the board?
Oh, that was our share of the Calcutta. She's on the same team as Alan Tish.
Oh.
And I own them in the Calcutta.
Oh,
I told Mary pass the test. I said, look, Scott's my student. He's my dear friend. And I own you in the Calcutta. Who do you think I'm rooting for?
And she said,
got it right.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I'm going to stick around one more game.
All right. So it might only be one more game. I'm Marty Storer. This is Neil Kazaross with me commenting, and Phil Simborg chimes in from time to time. He's not paying off Calcutta money to the participants of the consolation finals.
Calcutta's my best equity in any tournament. Although I did win the 2-point minis.
That's the 2-point mini champion of Ohio.
How often was the cube turned on the first roll in that silliness known as a 2-point mini?
I never turned it on the first roll.
Never.
Never. Even when I'm winning.
How often did that work?
Never.
Okay. Did they always double you on the first roll?
Never.
Or never?
Meanwhile, the
That
game
was
the
serious.
game is going
Wow.
on. Mary rolled 6-2 split, and
No,
what was
Scott
that?
rolled
Oh,
6-2
Scott rolled 6-2 split.
Ooh,
Mary
double
rolled
two.
4-2, and she correctly hit on the bar point.
Do you hit with a double two? Or do you
Scott
make a
rolled a
point?
2-1.
Oh,
I do this half. I do that play.
Yeah,
it's a good play.
Any upgrade in anchors are good enough to cut down on the game.
By the way, Mary said that double six play, she was absolutely certain her play was right. She doesn't care what Neil says, Marty says. She's sure that was right.
I think it was likely she was right.
Yeah, I think it's likely she
Reduction
was right
shots.
too, but
Yeah.
leaving fewer shots isn't so important there.
Well, we'll see. She was
Well,
very
there's
confident.
the tempo aspect.
I
right,
told her
as
that. I
well.
thought it was interesting. We were all debating it. She said, I made the right play. There's no question about it.
I didn't count shots
Yeah, she
either way.
made fewer shots. Left fewer shots.
I counted shots that way. It was 15.
Yeah. The other way
15 was probably fewer.
the other way was 19.
How about leaving entering 6s and 5s? Ones didn't hit. That might have been less than 19, unless some.
No. There
There were some double. There might have been some doubles that caught.
I counted 19. There was double 3s, 4s, and 2s.
Got it.
What
That's 19. Thank you.
She did it over the board, and she did it a lot faster than we could do. I mean, that was really something, how fast she
Because
did
she's
that.
sitting there in front of it, seeing it better than we are,
Ah.
and not having to comment on it.
I got you.
Build her down good.
She didn't have to listen to me.
That helps.
Yep.
That
So now Scott fans on the 2-point board, and Mary's got builders in place. She hopes to make her 5.
And she does.
She does. With a
Bingo.
6-1. Scott hopes urgently for 6 return shots.
He
at
needs
that.
something good here.
2-6
And he
from
rolls
the
a
bar.
Fogerlin.
Lousy.
Fogelin, Ray
Lousy.
Fogelin, 2-6 from the bar. No, this is Marty imitating Ray Fogelin.
And
And
Oh, boy.
he made the right play.
I think so.
Duplicating 6 to cover. the
Especially when he can't be gammoned. That's got to be the right play.
By the
So
way,
now Mary's got a choice. She can make a 5-point prime, or she could hit a second checker and not make a 5-point prime.
before the match, when Scott asked me for advice, the
This is
first
pretty
thing I
good
said
play.
was, first thing I told him is he should hedge.
So Mary, all she has to do is win this game. Okay. Has Scott doubled her? Yes, Scott has doubled her. Okay. Scott's not playing the game of like get a threatening looking position and hope she passes.
I
what
guess
she should
this
really
4
take.
has to go 8-4 if she hits. I think she's not going to hit, and I don't mind this.
I don't mind it either. I don't mind it because that 5 part is so doggone
And
strong.
the hitting allows him to anchor, possibly.
You only need to prime 1 checker and run out and win.
Yeah. And I think he's right just to play safe there.
Ooh.
An ugly looking 6-1. Remember that she slots the. She just slots
Of course.
the.
Stay back and slot the point you need. Step up. Yeah. Oh, yeah, like that. 8-7. That's what I mean.
Step
Do not,
down.
So that's.
do not step up. Do not step up and get attacked more often.
Yeah.
Ooh, there we go. Hit.
And 4, please.
It's a big hit.
4, please. 13-9. 4 duplication, 7-3, and 20-16. Oh no! Oh
Don't
no!
break the blockade.
Oh no! He broke the blockade and he left.
Well,
no
I
return
didn't like
shot.
his. I didn't like his 2 last time. I would have left an 8 shot last time. Marty didn't agree, but
Uh-oh, we
What,
lost our
what 8
picture.
shot? Oh, that.
There it
that
is.
oh, 8-6. Yeah, I was.
Anchor.
I would have thought of it, but I mean,
I would have played 8-6.
8-6. Builder on the 11-point would make the 9 or the 10-point more often. Would be more flexible.
So
In return for
one of his assets was having that block, and that's
three
what
extra
Marty.
shots.
That's what Marty and Neil didn't like. When you have an asset, part of your game is to play a priming game. Don't
Make
break the prime.
the 4-point
Yeah,
There you
and
go.
keep Mary up there, and maybe you gammon her.
maybe you down her, maybe you get out of there.
Maybe you get tempo to get out, or maybe
Boom.
you get a hit with
There
a
you
You hit
go.
with
shoulder.
a 6-5 because you left a lot on the 14
There
instead
you
of the 9.
go. That
Exactly.
was big.
That's a-
Huge swing.
4-2. Okay, 4 goes safe. No choice.
No choice.
Mary's game plan is to run away. 5-3. Kaboom. I believe kaboom. It's a little bit dangerous.
Scott's only got a minute and 40
I
on the clock.
think she kind of has to do that.
It wins most often for sure. And leap bang close. 5-3. Okay, that's interesting.
I would
You could
give,
just lift the
I
damn
would give
thing.
nothing. I lift it.
Just lift the damn thing.
Yeah.
8-5 because she leaves
There's a lift because you don't have a cover.
1-6-2-6.
Another thing is she needs a 4 to step up with that back guy.
Is there any
So
merit?
she doesn't need to play it. I wouldn't play too big.
Is there
I-
any
Oh,
merit
that's
in
too
hitting?
big. That's Neil pointed out a 4 duplication, 62 and 24-20. And also there are these 4 very juicy hitting numbers, 6-1, 6-2. Fan. Now that extra builder for the moment is not so great. Now she should just lift safely.
Okay.
Good play. Forced, virtually forced.
Forced by logic, I say.
Yeah. There's
2.
ugly looking 3-1.
Horrible 3.
13-10.
You keep your blockade. You play 13 to 10, and you say, and you can ask yourself, would you rather have danced? And then the dice says, sorry, you entered.
Plus it duplicates 5s. There is that. 5
Yeah, and it keeps the blockade. Keeping the blockade is hurt.
Ooh,
6-3. Well, there's if you hit loose, you must
come out.
come out.
Why not hit twice?
But
Because you're leaving 2 blocks.
you break your prime and you leave 2 blocks, and you could get gammoned very
Okay.
easily. Getting backgammon would be very
You
bad.
gamut here too.
When that darn Michi
Good,
wrote
but
the
you
book
got-
about Double Tiger, that's all we think about now because he gave us such a nice name for it.
One of the proverbs.
I tried not to think about it.
One of the proverbs of
To be
Michi's
honest
book
with you.
is,
Sorry, Michi.
I quote Michi, "To double hit is tiger play." There we go. Mary will come right up. Come right up.
What a nice rolling, Mary.
Mary has remade her 20 anchor.
Worst players dance there, Mary.
There is a 2 that hits. The 4 that goes to the 6 point. That's very nice.
Is
An
Mary
extra
the only
builder?
person to win the U.S. Open back-to-back?
I
think
don't
so.
know. I don't know.
I think so. Showing her merits here.
Tough. That's my inclination. I'm not getting out. It's too risky. He could have duped 5s and gotten out though.
I would have thought about it
And
longer.
because,
I definitely would have thought about
I would have thought about it.
his
it.
plan,
Without the 5, it's kind of now he's okay. Now you got to get out. And
Keep
now
it
you
going for
duplicate 2s, right? Go. You have to go.
Go.
And he will. I mean, you can't. You have to escape sometime. He says, "All right, I don't care about duplicating 2s.
that's okay.
I'll dump a check on 1 punch. Fewer harmful shots." There's a 5-3.
And just come home. She's going to get out now? Gonna dump to the ace point? I don't know.
I disagree with this.
I would. You got plenty of time, Mary. Use it.
I disagree with this. I now just lift your, just lift your 8 or something. Yeah, something.
7 points doing nothing now.
All right, anybody who's watching this, you've got,
Oh, he played it illegally. He played it illegally. It was a 4-1. He played a 5-1.
maybe it wasn't fun.
Now
Well,
what, Mary?
So,
it could have been a 5-1. We saw it.
Now what, Mary? Mary, quite contrary.
Mary didn't object, so it probably was a 5-1.
yeah, very shocked about that.
Yeah, she wouldn't miss that.
But I want people to notice something. Neil Kazaross and Marty Storr are both 2 of the highest ranked players in the world. Mary Hickey is a top player, and they still disagree on many plays. This game has not been solved yet. There's still room for individuality and for everybody's own style of play.
Scott would like a
We
6.
agreed that Scott rolled cocked, and he could still duplicate 5s, but is
Don't
5
strip that 6
duplication-
point.
Is 5 duplication
Find a 4.
something?
There you go.
That would be a non-stripping 4.
I wouldn't strip of you.
Mary
Tough.
can hit.
It's tough. I would really try to think of the effect. So this is the bad effect. But the other so 17 numbers hit the outside block. The other way was 18. double threes, double sixes, double
Right,
Right.
the other way is more
Great
shots,
roll.
it's 18.
More
Great
shots
roll.
than 18.
Although sixes beats you anyway.
Yeah.
But still breaks even.
And okay, so he rolled a 6, and he hit with the 2 6s. He's coming to the edge with a 1, which I 100%
Got to come up to the edge. Find another play.
100% agree with.
Find a.
This is
play
good.
the number
This
on
is
your board.
fewer. This is fewer ways to be hit.
That's
More
looking good
way-
here.
More ways to.
I think
Fours
six.
hit, ones hit, sixes gets
There's
out.
a 4.
Fours
There's
hit.
a hitting 4.
Yeah.
A
Favorite to roll
gammon.
a- he's favored to roll a 6.
A gammon brings him to 8 to 6 down. He would have a 25%.
Oh, that's a
chance.
huge roll,
That's
Mary.
critical. Now, the question is whether Scott can get a 6 and win. With a 3-2, I guess. 3-2.
He
Okay.
needs a 6 before he starts crashing his board, or before Mary comes in.
Crashing is coming without a 6. He's got one roll he can play usually without getting out.
Okay, double 5. So she's
Man,
there goes the 6
Uh-oh.
point. He killed a 5 with his deuce.
Mary
And he
just became a
some
big
ones-
favorite.
He made
Uh-oh.
some ones play better.
6 here, and that's it.
It's 4-3.
No.
There goes the
Horrible.
spare checker to the 1 point.
Horrible.
I would venture to say Mary's a favorite now.
Oh, big
clearly,
favorite.
Especially after double 6s. Now she can
Block
hit him
them?
loose. Hit him loose.
Get loose.
Hit him loose.
That's better than blocking them. Yep,
Yeah.
hit him loose.
Yeah.
Hit him loose as a 4-point crash board.
Yeah,
Absolutely hit him loose.
there's a non.
She saw it in about 2 seconds.
This is the end.
There's the
Cover.
block, cover, and
Split the back to have double covers for the bar.
I think
That's
so.
me.
I think so.
Yep.
Probably. A6 is so unlikely.
27.
I play with a guy in the chouette that got burned by an E6 and will never ever give it again.
There's
Slot in the corner. In the corner. Keep going, end it.
Neil wants to end it. Mary says, well, you might hit me and leave a blot and then anchor after I hit him, but she says, well,
Mary doesn't have to hit the blood
That
unless she's
doesn't,
forced.
Does she cover with a 6 here?
Of course. She doesn't need any more checkers.
You don't want his board to crash more?
slotting the 1 point,
No.
like Neil recommended, is a good tactic because
No, as his board crashes more, he gains more speed in the bear off.
I see.
That breaks even. He's crashed anyway.
yeah,
Just break even.
there's
Cover it up.
the 6. It looks like Mary is on track to
Mary
win
wants
this
to
game.
try to put her spares on high points in her board,
wants to avoid
but wants to avoid a blotting
yeah.
number.
I'm
And
gonna
so
go-
she'll just do so with. Well, she could have gone 7 to 6 and avoided that same blotting
I'm
number.
going to go collect my Calcutta money for Mary.
See you later. See ya.
Whether that she's rolled a double 6 and she, whether this is right or not,
Played okay either way.
it played okay.
I would have played 7 to 6.
Yeah, I think she might have got an extra checker off or some weird thing. I don't know.
She would have. I would not leave a gap in a million years. You have a
No.
checker off and a speed board. If he rolls boxes,
The gap, and the
so
gap,
what?
the gap hurts anyway. The gap can hurt anyway.
Yes.
This is not materially different from the other one
No.
because you can miss and everything like that. You can be hit. Scott does have a tiny chance to win this game.
We've all
The
seen worse.
spectators are screaming for blood. They want Scott to win so that the game can go on.
I'm screaming for Mary to roll boxes so I can drive home.
The spectators
Uh-oh.
don't care about Neil's little predicament.
Now, if Scott rolls a playable double here, there's a game on. It's going to be game on if Scott can pitch it, take 4 checkers off.
This is
Bye, everybody. Oh, not yet. I saw 6-6.
6-4. Game off.
Come on, Scott. Show
Game
us.
off.
Show us, Scott.
He's got 8 checkers. Mary's got 6, but Mary can miss.
And she
does.
misses.
She does. Oh no. Okay. No, she could. She probably should place 5 to 3 to off
That's what I do.
because double 2s can miss. the other way.
Exactly.
And
Double 2s don't miss. Yeah, double 2s
don't. Yeah, double 2s is fine. It's a non-miss this way.
Right.
And what did he? Oh, he must have had. I thought he had 8, but he must have had stacked
It's over. Firing 2 doubles in a row.
2 doubles or 2 2-1s.
Goodbye. 2-1-2-1.
2-1-2-1 misses. But that's not a 2-1.
Uh-oh. No luck.
Mary Hickey has won the consolation
Good job, Mary.
of the Ohio State
Nice
Backgammon
try, Scott.
Championships.
See you guys in Vegas,
Yeah.
which I don't think has commentary, so you won't be listening to my blabbermouth.
This is Marty Storer, Neil Kazaross
Not mine.
signing off.
Marty's computer stuff.
Mary Hickey has.
Was it here?
No, it was on my desk.
That's not mine.
Wasn't mine. Not mine.
All right. Congratulations
It was
to everyone.
I saw it there
Thanks for
before.
coming here. All right. I'm off. All
I'm
right.
off.